Lunchbox, CC, Ant, hello. Like this background picture, Barmaid looks so exasperated. God damn it, no one's decoding! We've been trying to four-man kite for 4 minutes. For anything I can give you a drink? True. Was that Darkwoods that they picked? It's definitely Darkwoods in the picture. They need to do a better job with the little squares that show what map it is. Even if that just meant putting a little label on them. I'm pretty sure that was Darkwoods, but I'm not positive. It is, okay. Yeah, there's a label now, okay. So, hello. Grave Archer bands. Archer feels bad at low tier when games are like 5 to 6 minutes long, but when games are like an average of 3 minutes and 30 seconds, like those 5 bleeds are like insane. It's kind of funny. Ain't no joke. It's all about context. She's garbage in low tier, but in high tier, when you don't need to like buy that much time, she's nuts. Two weeks. Why would you do that to yourself? Thank you. Seen a lot more escapologists. He's becoming more popular again. Being able to move chairs is quite strong. His little disappearing act ability is pretty useful. The hunter can kind of abuse it though if he doesn't, like, if he's not careful. Like if he's trying to rescue last second and you hit him and then suddenly he's just like not touching the chair anymore, it'll ruin your day. So does the explosion from Bon Bon specifically not go through the wall, or can I just not throw bombs into it? Because if the explosion still goes through it, I don't actually care about that wall at all. Just drop his fart ring and I have no idea how to utilize it. Yeah. A lot of it is, like, where you drop it. Like, a lot of areas are gonna be better than others, like, areas with a lot of clutter, so you can, like, actually use it to move around. So you can't throw bombs through it, then yeah, I don't care about that. If the explosion goes through, Bonbon's still okay with going against him. Because they don't typically leave the smoke right away, and even if they do, we're okay with that as well. So if they don't leave the smoke, I can just drop bombs in either inside of it if I'm in it, or like along the outside if I'm not, and I can still get hits. Yeah, and the handful of games I've played against him, the smoke ring hasn't been that big of a factor. His ability trailer shows him bullying Bonbon. I always make the characters look better than they are. Going to the live games on the 12th and 13th? Nice, that's cool. Alright, I'm not super knowledgeable about Queen Bee, I just never bothered to pick up the character. I understand at her core how she works, but certainly not like high-level strategy. Oh, I like the logo. Alright, rubbing bugs on him. Ooh, strong cloud car. I like that it allows her to go over all the routes like that. She actually gets quite a bit of distance there. Wonder if she can throw bees across from like between the thing. Ooh. Okay, 2 misses so far. First hit, 57 seconds. Looking like one of my Bonbon games. Not where you want to be as a hunter. Not quite sure why she stopped. Good warp. Ooh, good flywheel. Snipe people off boat. Which boat? Or if the only one with BT? Oh, I didn't know that, so. Projectile hitbox has to be tiny. I don't remember it being that small, like, the one time I did try to play her. It's generally, in my experience, is the wind-up being kind of awkward that, causes a little bit of struggling, but she's just missing. Like, he ran... I think she went for the dodge predict, and he just ran in a straight line. Ah, okay. I see why people play this character now. I'm like, she seems kind of mediocre, to be honest. And I'm like, oh, okay, no, I see it. Well, they got a full heal reset, which is helpful, but they'd like the Cypher progress to be a little bit farther along, I'm sure. Her map control is pretty strong. Yeah. I'm a little surprised, like I said, the Cypher progress isn't farther along, though. Oh, did actually get the Perfumer hit. That would have been a death sentence a few patches ago, but... Ooh. Not a good stun. Does manage to take the hit and get the prime, but as has been pointed out, it might not be as helpful as you'd think. Curious if that's the competitive meta now. Ooh. Good series of vaults there. Yeah, no support either. Yeah, the game taking as long as it did was a little perplexing to me. What? Did she forget to click the button? Very risky vaults. Not when she's got detention. You might as well go for it. Well, wound up being a 3K. Why weren't we at the same gate? Because one of them just wasn't close enough. They were kind of just splitting the difference. Yeah, it looks like they're both at the same area initially. No, no, no. Yeah, they decided to split up around there. It seems like they're expecting a teleport, and so they're just splitting gates to see, like, it's a guarantee that at least one of them gets out. Good on the QB. I wasn't actually that impressed with the gameplay. She hit like one chip the whole game. And then, do bugs make you unable to vault? Because, like, why didn't she jump there? I mean, I don't think it mattered. Enchantress was still getting out, but, like... I don't fully understand because they didn't support, so, like, I don't understand why the decoding went so slowly. Yeah, she had forever to jump. That's perplexing. I have questions about the Survivor Squad, but yeah, just honest assessment. I wasn't particularly impressed by either side. I think the Queen Bee landed one ship, and otherwise she just ran the survivors down. Which I mean, obviously it worked, but for how little they supported, the amount of time it took them to finish the ciphers was kind of baffling to me. Also, don't like the round one picks. Yeah, I kind of was like, maybe they know something I don't. It doesn't look like it. They might just be comfort picks. Yeah, they didn't go like full tank lineup, which is what you'll normally see into the like higher tier hunters. Because it just buys time on all of your kites and makes your rescues easier, etc., etc. The only tanking character that was like taken out of the pool was Grave. They didn't seem to get a lot of value out of the Enchantress, which, in my experience of playing, is frequently the case. Unless they wanted to save those for a later round. But, like, I don't know, maybe. I always find doing stuff like that a little sus because, like, there's no guarantee that those characters won't be banned at a later round. So, assuming you're going to be able to get them later into an easier matchup, so you could say try to like guarantee like a 3-out or something like that, it just seems risky. Which isn't necessarily incorrect. Like, it could work. I. My ranked opponents would never have let the ciphers take that long. The bans are weird. The bans mostly made sense to me. But like, it's not like she was harassing ciphers. It's not like, and like they could literally move chairs. So even if she chaired by a cipher that was in progress, then they could have just switched the chair that the survivor was on. So like, I do not understand why the cipher progress stalled the way it did. There was a distinct lack of efficiency in play and movement. Like, the first kite was fine, it was basically 3 ciphers. And I was like, "Okay, they're in a pretty strong position here," and then it kinda just fell apart for, like, no reason that I could see. That's the goat. No, the first hunter was, Bee Lady. No one's played goat yet. Friends are on this team? Which team? There's 2 teams. Dodo is my friend Meadow. I need you to start making a little more sense. No, I understand what you mean now. But what team, though? Anyway, I'm curious if a lot of the reason the game just seemed a little awkward was nerves. Kiri, what up? Because I know for a lot of teams, this is going to be like the biggest, not stage literally, but you get the idea, the biggest stage they've ever been on. So I think for some of them, there's going to be a little bit of the jitters, you know? I love a scuffed green screen. It's not too bad. It's definitely just like a lighting thing, but I love it. I loves on his headphones and his hair. Too much downtime in between rounds. With the ratio of 10% game played and 90% downtime, I really would think with at least for the online portions of the tournament, it would be faster because they don't have to like walk off the stage. But I think they do give them time on purpose just to like, discuss the previous game, etc., etc. But too much time. Well, the team's heavily prioritizing Grave and Enchantress. Archer's been banned twice. So I can never watch this live and prefer to watch recaps. I've kind of gotten used to it. Florian. Alright. Oh, they're also not on the current patch, right? Maybe that's why the ciphers felt so long. Healing takes a little longer, so they can't get around quite as fast because they actually have to fully heal each other. Oh, they're Wendy. Yeah. I think they are. You think they're on the previous patch? Will you be ranking tonight? No, because I think this is going to be going on while ranks up. Hate some wins? Rude. Not wrong, but still. No, I think talking about tournament games is better for my blood pressure. I'm kidding. I know, it's fine. How old are you? I turned 36 in June. Old man Dagon. Too old, true. Alright, so if this is last patch, then Qist is still good, right? Crampagon? Y'all. Why not married? Mental illness. I don't imagine they play him if he sucked. I mean, he might still be playable. I don't remember what they did to him. Knocked? Hello? 36? Yep. Ancient. Yeah, with how slow the ciphers went last game, it kind of felt like a Qist match where he gets his first chair, right? And he starts to just like take over by constantly preventing cipher progress. But it was just Queen Bee. They just weren't decoding. And like, yeah, there was a heal reset, and it's not current patch, so it takes a little longer, but maybe the heal buffs are even stronger than I thought they were. I don't really know why you would prioritize Florian so much. Maybe it's a map thing. I mean, there are a handful of choke points that he could like place the inflatable that will like basically force you to break it, which has value. This is, I mean, it doesn't force, but it's certainly a good spot. But there's that one god palette in mid. Ah, okay. Yeah, those are pretty significant. Also, I believe fair nerfs. Ooh, good flywheel. There's blank. 122, about the same time as the first down from last game. Same thing with Cypher progress is pretty similar. A bit farther along, obviously, on the two that are done, but a bit less progress on the third. Florian is the best chase, given Q's chase is worse than Joseph's. Yeah, his first down's usually pretty ass. But it's after that that he kind of comes online. But yeah, I remember during the previous tournament that his first chair was usually pretty slow. But he makes up for it by being able to constantly kick ciphers for free. It's like, okay, you you keep decoding, I'll keep kicking it. That was funny. I don't know if there's any reason to leave him in shovel here. Just hit him. Like you're letting him buy time for no reason. I mean, he wants the damage, obviously, but I don't know. It's probably better in the long run. No, but maybe not, actually. He's kind of in a rough spot at the moment. Enchantress is here. Only has mini stun, though. Honestly, I would just tank it. I don't even think he was necessarily waiting for the TS. I think he just wanted ooh. I think he just wanted to do actual like damage to the grave instead of letting the grave rescue without being hurt, but I don't know if that was correct. Yeah. I mean, what was the final time on that? Oh, I'm not even on live because I went and rewound that one time. Where timer? Okay, here we go. 344. Yeah, it seems more in line with what I've been used to in ranked recently. Or do they throw their? I don't know. I've both of these rounds have been kind of questionable to me. Like, he made no attempt to drive the meteorologist off of the cipher for even a second, and like I realized the cipher was being kicked. But yeah, did he not have tinnitus there, and he just decided they were at the other gate? Yeah, their first downs were pretty similar, like timing wise. Yeah, he didn't get tinnitus, so he thought they were at the other gate, I guess. That's the only reason that jump makes any sense to me. Oh yeah, they're like I said, their first down's basically the exact same timing. It was around 120 something. But somehow the ciphers took way longer against Queen Bee, who had no cipher kick and just worse control. So it just seems like the YCM survivors played a little more efficiently. And they actually got value out of the Enchantress pick. Versus the Heaven got no value out of it. Like that stun allowing the Florian to vault, and then they could pop and he just was the only kill. Like that was the difference for sure between like a one or the 3 out that they got and a guaranteed tie. I think they were confident Qist. It certainly doesn't seem like it. Just cosplaying CC Qist. Unfortunately, I feel like if you're going to pick in a tournament, you need to be somewhat confident. I'll take that a step farther. If you can't play all of the S tier hunters to like a ridiculous degree, you need to practice more. IVC debut when? When all the B tier hunters don't suck anymore. Punbot would go absolutely not. Have you seen my win rate? Jesus Christ. It's an AU first tournament. It's not. There's a lot of small tournaments that I'm sure a bunch of these teams have participated in. And I mean there are NAEU slots for the larger tournament. So for Koa. So this is an official. Even that's not true. It's the first like larger tournament where we actually get to watch the whole thing, but so I'm sure there are some nerves involved, like for sure. Akiva's pickup tilts me. It's questionable. P, hello. I think if you went for the pickup immediately, ate the small stun, and then just downed again, like if that happened immediately, it would have been fine. But he hesitated, and then it became a problem. Played on a team of 2 people from Heaven. That's cool. I like their logo. I don't like the other team's logo. It looks stupid. Oh, I absolutely believe there's nerves involved. And like I said, regardless of whether or not they've played in other tournaments in the past, this is definitely, like I said, like the biggest stage they've been on thus far. So 18 is absolutely still a kid. You tell him, Grandpa, hey, do you want me on your side or not? Um, Although I was watching the big Dota tournament today, the international, and it's interesting. Sumail's still playing, and I believe he started when he was 16. So his first big stage appearance where he was actually on stage at the biggest Dota tournament in the world, he was 16. But yeah, I agree with Zerv. The hunters seemed like they weren't super comfortable on Qist, because like normally, all right, you get the first chair and then Qist kind of starts their gameplay loop, and that just kind of looked like someone playing any other hunter, and not Qist specifically. So that, I don't know, it felt odd. Soberish, hello. Yeah, and one of the ones that he did enclose, he also should have just ran her away from the cipher, even if only for a second. Like he literally just kind of dropped it on the cipher, like while she was decoding, which is still useful, but like he did one. I thought he did two. I thought he had done it once more before the interaction with the meteorologist. I'll tell you what though, if they start playing shitty hunters, I'll have some real insight. Yeah, I feel like he did one before that, but I could be wrong. Okay, so upset. It's rough. It's rough when you see a character that you really like, and it just doesn't work out. But like, I understand going for greed in competitive though, like, because you sometimes you really do got to risk it for the biscuit. Like the difference between a 3K and a tie is huge, and likewise the difference between a 3 out and a tie is huge. But I mean, if you can swing it, I don't know, more often than not, unless you're like way ahead, I say go for it. At least an opera and I. That's a good point, actually. I never really thought about that. Okay, original hunter, presumably a queen bee main. Which again reads a little strange because again I think they landed one chip the whole time. But again, a lot of that might just be nerfs. You mean okay, it's Eye Hunter and turning? The problem is you don't really get... You'd never see him until the later rounds. And I mean, in, like, the best of 5 is when you would see him. When, like, all of the good characters are, gone. That's when, like, Clown and all the other weirdos show up. Yeah. What map is that? Why don't they put the names? What is this? Is it Ever Sleeping? Okay. I thought it was, but I wasn't positive, because I'm like, what building in Ever Sleeping looks like that? No. What? What building is that? School? Uh-huh. It's the school? Where is the school? It's your mom. The half of the map they removed from the original map. Oh, so it's not relevant anymore, so it's a bad icon. Yeah, Dagon, you're right. It's weird that they use an icon that hasn't been relevant for 3 years. Thanks for the backup, Chad. I appreciate it. It released with the Junji... Okay, see, that makes more sense to me, but also update your fucking icon. That building doesn't exist anymore. I'm sorry, is that a Dream Witch ban? Splitting into 2 maps? That would have been cool, actually. Dream Witch ban's probably a target ban. That's my assumption as well, but, like... I don't know. Like, it's gotta be a target ban, otherwise that's madness. It was never meta after release. Got the short end of the stick, unfortunately. It's my least favorite character to watch. Grandma's playable. I don't know if I'd say meta. She's not as strong, certainly, as Hullabaloo, Qist, and B, and all them were. But to your point, she's always been picked more in comp than Norton has. Yeah, she's supplanted Anne. In any circumstance where you would pick Anne, she's just Anne, but better. I made noodles before I fucking started streaming, and it's been an hour and I haven't eaten them. They are a bit cold. It's definitely a tier thing, Ants. And demolishes low tiers, but a good grandma player is just like so much better than Anne because she has so many more tools. Oddly not mushy. Nah, they're fine. Hardly ever see her in matches these days, which, yeah, I just not a common pick. I'd actually be very interested to see overall hunter pick rates. Split by server, just for curiosity's sake. What if Yithian could be hit by the tram? Can it be hit by the tram? No? Stupid. Well, it looked like it had to go around the tram, so that's why I was confused. This character's nauseating to watch. Also, the games usually go pretty long. Naiad would be the most picked. Probably not. Again, definitely at specific tiers. Alright, we blink. Ooh, yoinked him out a big fart. That's fancy. That was really cool. What's going on the highlight reel? Hell yeah. That was a blink opener, but like cipher progress wise, she's still way ahead of where other hunters have been at this level of cipher progress because she can like start fucking with ciphers pretty early. Yeah. That's generally how I measure kiting efficacy rather than just the timer. Because the timer is not inherently meaningful unless that translates into objectives for the survivors. If it doesn't, then the time does not matter. Naiad is top picked. All right, well there you go. Geisha is second and Mary is third. Huh. Is that ranked or quick play or overall or what? It was overall? Okay. I was gonna say, because the S tiers are gonna be picked less because they get banned a lot. Undead is first. Alright, one person's dead. Time for Ivy to completely take over the game. Yeah, he should have been put in ranked, like, yesterday, right? When did Undead become S tier? It's an unconventional playstyle, which inherently kind of gives him an advantage, because a lot of people just don't. Like, it's not the normal gameplay loop, so it'll, like, screw with people a bit. Is it next? It could be. There hasn't been a brand new Hunter, like, since I started playing that I'm like, man, I really want to play that Hunter. So I've never been, like, chomping at the bit to get to a character in ranked. Alright, realistically, I think you just slug the Merc. Well, I guess it's Ivy. She doesn't really have to. Not in ranked? Alright, it is next week then. Ivy can camp and chase. Must be nice. I am glad they immediately put a mill in the other non-ranked modes. I think that's cool. Alright. We're starting the game of musical chairs, even though that metaphor doesn't actually make any sense, because it's not how you play musical chairs, but I don't know any other chair-based games, so. Naiad's third. I mean, it makes sense that none of the S tiers are top picks because they're just perma-banned, right? They're just in ban jail. Watching Ivy, it's like, so this is what Clown would be like if Clown was good. Because this is the general gameplay loop you want as Clown, right? Where, like, they're just forced to rescue over and over again, so they can't really get much cipher progress done, except that Ivy can be in two places at once, so she just does what he does, but better. Yeah, good Reptilian is, like, crazy. You can stuff rescues, get double downs, etc. Yeah, it's because any Mad Eye's main is an absolute psychopath, and I'm afraid of them. Ooh, I thought that would have hit. Alright, another rescue. That's a down. The Cypher at 75 is not currently moving. Should be a 3K minimum. But realistically, it's probably a 4K because the game really starts when Ivy has detention, which is crazy. Lowest win rate is Hullabaloo. That's interesting. I would have thought it would have been Bon Bon with how I keep tanking Bon's win rate. Oh, target spotted. That looked like a missed blink, because otherwise I don't know why you'd swing at that pallet. Last season's data. Ah. Yeah, I feel like with the healing changes that would make Undead struggle a bit more. Sorry, there's not much to talk about in an Ivy game past a certain point. Like after that first person dies, if they're not like almost finished with 2 ciphers to like get the last cipher popped, it's all over but the crying. It's just her going from cipher to cipher and then trying to rescue, but like you can't do it fast enough. You can't get the heals off fast enough, so it's just 5 minutes of her just wandering around the map killing people. Ban Dreamwitch over Ivy, yeah, it does seem like a mistake. But I'm not familiar with any of these hunters. Maybe they're like a godlike Dreamwitch. I have no idea. The Ivy yoink out of the flight for aeroplanets was really cool though. Not looking good for Heaven, unfortunately. I could see that, Ants. They do seem very similar. Goatman is most banned with Ivy right. Oh, this is last season. I was like, I would have thought Dentist would be on that list. This live already? Yeah. Show up on my IDV. It showed up on mine initially. I had to click it, but yeah, I don't believe Dentist is allowed in this tournament. Yeah, it won't play on the in-game client. But if you click it, it should pull up the YouTube stream. You just click streaming entrance. It's hooked up wrong in game. Oh, well, there you go. Grave was first. That makes sense because a lot of hunters were gonna struggle to deal with the change. Not me, but you know, other people. I loved chasing gravekeepers. So generally speaking, the way gravekeepers will play. First of all, a lot of people don't chase them just because having to hit them multiple times, which you know makes their rescues quite strong because they can usually rescue while only taking one hit minimum, and even then, if they don't hit you and wait for you to pop out of the ground, you get to waste so much time for free. But if you want to chase them, they usually spawn in the weakest kiting area, and then they'll drop whatever the nearest pallet is, and then shovel. So if your character like Clown, you break that pallet and you just run at them, and it's free presents. And depending on where on the map they are, sometimes you can get a follow-up hit real fast. So the fact that they would give up the first hit fairly early, which gives me access to dash earlier, usually meant that I could down them in about the same time I could down like a normal kiter, but I'd have more presence, and then they'd be down a tide. Yeah, those used to be my go-to bans. Well, I mean, she wouldn't be if she's banned all the time, right? Also, as much as I dislike her, I do consider her pretty map dependent. Like, she's definitely stronger on specific maps. Whereas Seer can function on basically any of them, same with Mech. Right, but then again, like I said, he slots into more comps better than Priestess does. Because, like, who doesn't want to extend the first kite by one hit? I don't ban him because Bon Bombs get rid of Bird, but I'm actually a bit surprised because, like, I haven't been banning him for, like, the last couple of rank sessions, and I still haven't seen him very much. I think I've seen him twice. Then again, people you seem to know that it's me, so maybe they're just not picking it because he's not super great at a bonbon. All right, for bands, we've got aeroplanist or engineer, and then archer and lanternist. Archer and lanternist makes sense. I was gonna say the previous team didn't get a whole lot of value out of engineer, but I think that's literally just because she was able to yoink him out of his big jump, right? Because otherwise, realistically, that chase goes on for like another 30 seconds minimum with the amount of space he's gonna get. Oops, speaking of seer bands, I think this is very chip meta season. Less seers are playing. That could be as well. Yeah, dentist and queen bee being pretty popular as well. Now Emil completely ignores Al. Yeah, basically. Pounce removes Al. You love to see it. I mean, they're gonna patch that, but it's neat that for now there's a hard counter to a really strong survivor. Yeah, I think wax artist. Interesting. Not bad into the two invisible characters. Also not terrible against coordinator because if you shoot him, he's gonna like shed wax everywhere. And presumably he also does that if you hit him with the little spin move. That's a cool pick. I like that. I don't know Wax's matchups. This seems solid. He seems good into all of them because if they try to shoot him or spin move him, he's gonna coat wax on everybody. He can shoot the invisible people. This is a solid pick. If they can pull it off, I'll be very impressed. I love the pick. Whether or not it'll work in practice is another issue entirely, but the pick is good. Matador gets waxed when hitting with Millen. Okay. I kind of figured, but so also unfortunately one of the issues with Wax is he's not really going to be able to like prevent a rescue from first officer even if you do manage to stun him. But I mean, it's not like any other hunter was going to be able to do that anyway. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Am I crazy or does Matador look like he's in a different art style than everyone else? Maybe it's just because he's the only one staring like right down the barrel of the camera. The skin has texture. No, that's what it is. Everyone else is like really smooth. They'll be looking away from the camera and not tell Matador. uh, I like that. Nobody tell him. He'll be so embarrassed. I was gonna say there's no way that Pharaoh's a bad first chase, but maybe since she would have been at one of the buildings, it would have been kind of rough. Versus here, where obviously he can continue shooting. Oh, got him. Strong start so far. No S tier accessory, though. Minor L. Oh, nice. Okay. Fast first down. That's what you want. LG is the worst win rate. That's not at all surprising. That makes perfect sense. And the crazy part is I'm sure her win rate used to be worse. They keep trying to baby proof her by making her ability like impossible to screw up now. Oh no. Oh no again. All right, still a very good start. Even with the missed wax bomb and the other missed wax bomb. It's all right, bud. I do that too. The depth on that is like weirdly difficult to gauge. There are so many times where it looks like if you're looking at the arc that the wax bomb should hit and then it just doesn't. Oh, that's cute. I like that. Don't get hit by the tram. Ooh. Someone said their prayers today. Ooh, nice. Coordinator stepped out of range so as not to get waxed, although realistically I don't think he would have gone for her anyway. Nice. Or it highlights if it'll hit or not. That'd be kind of nice. I'd be okay with that. Well, they were doing all right, and then two tides happened. And now there's just one cipher left. But at least, like, the people that took damage still have that damage, so... Nice, blocking the way there. Okay, okay. I had water treatment and slow decoding. That'd be crazy, actually. Ooh, had the instant read, sadly lost it, but, like, the first shot was dead on. That was wild. Who gets the hit? Isn't gonna matter. Oh, wait. She didn't have it. Blocked? Nice. That's a sick skin. That's also one of my favorite coordinator skins. It's one of the best guns. All right, assuming yeah, and they can. I was gonna say, assuming they can clean up this end game, this will have been quite well played, I would say. I like that. Doesn't matter because I think he needed that format. True. Might help the overall placement though. I was impressed there. That looked confident. The two missed wax globs notwithstanding. Because again, that I played wax for like a season, and that shit used to happen to me all the time. I'm like, how am I missing that? And the answer I think is that the thing that shows you the arc is a little wonky. Which is wild because I feel like Bonbons is really accurate. I don't know. Wax is a good character to have in your wheelhouse. Yeah, especially if they're gonna run double invis comp. Congratulations to YCM. Definitely well played, even if I hate watching IV games. Overall, I think their survivors played more efficiently. Like they didn't do anything particularly flashy, but they did exactly what they needed to do. And in round one, they got value out of the Enchantress pick, whereas Heaven did not. They were just like Heaven's Enchantress was just a second too late on the stun, and so they wound up not getting any value out of it. Whereas it was the opposite for what was it, YCM? Theirs worked out perfectly. They got the stun. The Florian vaulted that window, and then the hunter swinging through the window hit the enchantress instead. So that just it worked out perfectly, and because of that, they got the 3 out on the Qist. Yeah, I wish I had more information on like the individual players, like if I had seen them in more tournaments and stuff. So I could know I'm like, okay, was that just like an off game, or does that person not normally play Qist? It's like it's hard to describe, but you can like tell when someone's confident on a character and when they're not. Like the handful of times I've seen like Robbie, for example, in Koa, last year there was a decent Robbie player, but they got robbed by something. I don't remember what it was. Oh, it was somebody basically like hiding and like crouch walking around the outskirts of the map until the hatch opened, I think is what screwed them out of a 4K. But like you can tell yeah, if they like hesitate to use abilities even a little bit, and it's really obvious on Robbie players because they will just never pull a fireball if they think it's even remotely risky. Whereas I feel like if you're confident, you're just gonna let those suckers rip, even if you don't have line of sight on the person, just because you should know, at least I do, based on the rotation of the fireball, like where the survivor is, so you should still be able to know when to pull it. So it definitely just seemed like they were a little less confident. But again, it also could just be nerves. Big tournament. Start second guessing yourself, and then it just kind of falls apart. Clerk players that hesitate when recording or inspect. Yeah, I can see that too. And it's definitely something you're more aware of if you actually play that character as well. You're like watching and you're like, why didn't they do that? Or like, why did they do it so slowly? And IDV being a game of seconds in most cases. Players when they charge as full presence and that yeah, it's yeah. Fireballs are just better pulled unless at a must break pallet. It depends. MVP Ivy? Yeah, I'd agree. And hard to argue with a 4K. Yeah, one of the things that I always found kind of funny, and this is before I was like in peak tier and stuff, so this was in like Manticore and the like. When I had detention and I would pull a fireball, and instead of eating the fireball, getting speed and running away, they just like let me get the fireball because they would dodge, and then I would just hit them with detention and they would go down. Sometimes it is better to just eat the chip, or in this case, the fireball. It's my advice against, yeah, any chip character. Sometimes it's better to just eat the chip. Like, I'll have people that will straight up 180 if I throw a bomb in front of them, and they're like, they know that they'll eat the bomb hit, and they'll just straight up turn around and let me hit them. Which, I mean, if they're one chip away from going down, and I have to have hit recovery, makes sense, but that's not what I'm talking about. Just eat the chip, get through the window, yeah. But it's really interesting seeing like a bunch of survivors who are otherwise like incredibly efficient and kite very well and play very smart will like do little things like that that will just wind up getting an extra hit or just a little extra damage. Tex, hello. Tex, when do you play? It's such a good wax game, but just unfortunately when you need a 4K, better a chip than a full hit. Yeah. I mean, if you can avoid both, obviously, and I assume that's what they're going for, right? They're like, okay, I'm gonna like 180, and then I'll try to dodge the swing. But a lot of times, it's just not worth it. They're just assuming they can do both. Yeah, very different energy. 100%. Like even though I keep talking about the two wax globs that missed, um, the fact that he went for them and like with no hesitation, it just showed the confidence on that character. So nice to see an official live tournament and not a 4A. It's so nice. Also, thank you for the prime. I appreciate it, my friend. It's fucking great. I get to cast this, and then I get to go to the grocery store. It's lovely. That was a really delayed sound alert. What the hell? Yeah, I'm very excited to have an actual NA tournament at actual NA times. It might not have come through because I don't use my YouTube scene very often, so it might not, because I mean the video didn't show up, so the audio might not come through for y'all either. Yeah, it was delayed by like a minute. That was very strange. Wonder how they decide who they're gonna put on the posters. Archer, acrobat, aeroplanist, barman. Oh no, they did it alphabetically. Never mind. Asked and answered, Your Honor. I don't think that's actually how they decided, but it is a weird coincidence. It's opera. I'd recognize those hips anywhere. Also, you know, the cape and the hair. Archer's the promo skin, but not wearing the promo skin in the art, I don't think. Those hips don't lie. True. Shakira crossover when? I'd buy it. I'd start playing Sangria again. She was really fun. She just got banned a lot, and I was ranking at the time, so it didn't make sense to keep playing her. Too much downtime between the games. Can't barmaid give the drinks to everybody now? They're just like soda or whatever if it's for the children. Is it actually like a different button? Or is it just the same button it's always been? Yes, that's good. It was stupid that she couldn't. The same button. Imagine imagine if you could fuck it up. It's technically a different item. I mean, but like they've had the Danganronpa crossover. It says in the description that it's soda because that's like a teenager. So like that's been in the game forever. As Lily and LG still can't use Dublin and Taro and Duos. Interesting. I feel like they just haven't updated that yet. Oh, I like the face Nello's doing right now. I enjoyed that. That was fun. Oh, hey, there's an interview. I assume. Oh, good. Scuff. Bruh. It seemed like Nello was calling him YCM and not congratulating the team. Say, well, I don't think the scuff is Nello's fault. Especially after calling Anne's cat a pussy live. I don't actually think there's a problem with that. I think if you're using that word the way it's intended, I think it's fine. This is so fucking awkward. You want to know the crazy thing? I'm gonna mute this because nothing of value is gonna be said. Um, there's a fix for this that's very easy. They pull up the stream and listen to it because the audio is coming through on that. Just open YouTube. Yeah, you'll be delayed a second, but like it's better than this. Hey, there you go. What are we looking at? I don't know what that is. But like, shout outs to the player for trying to fix shit. I love it. Yeah, in theory, that shouldn't be the caster's fault. That should be production's fault. But I don't know if they have like a production team for NA. So maybe it is, but if it is, again, there should be a production team and it shouldn't be the caster's fault. So I put none of the blame on them. Take a screenshot or screen recording of your favorite match moments. Probably that thing where Ivy yoinked the engineer. That was pretty cool. I don't even know if it was intentional. I think it was just part of the standard Ivy game loop, and I think the timing just worked out. But it's still neat, intentional or not. HC's logo is kind of neat. It's like straightforward, but I guess just because it reminds me vaguely of the Quake logo. All right, break time. I'm gonna go make a coffee. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Or do. I'm not the boss of you. Alright. 2 minutes left. Come back and everything's on fire. That seems about right. I gotta check the Dota standings. I know Liquid lost. I wanted them to win, but they're still in the lower bracket now, I think. And there's whatever team Sumail was on. I'm cheering for people in Dota that I recognize.
Ignat!
Is indeed Tetris. Ooh. So that reminds me of a complaint that I have about the tournament scene is that you're not required to have alternates. Yeah, they had like 4 survivors and then there was a blank slot where they could have had a 5th. And like some teams only have 1 hunter. And like it's inherently advantageous to have a second. So I don't like that it's not a requirement that you have one. Oh, I 100% agree, and that's why I think it should be required. It's the same thing where I'm like, if your hunter doesn't play every single S tier at least a badge plus level, like, are you not taking this seriously? Like, that's how I feel about not having alternates. Yeah, I'm not even going that far. Like, assuming that I'm not assuming that there's like let's say someone's sick or can't make it, or something comes up. I'm just saying you should have an alternate, because having, like, for example, a second hunter with a different hunter pool as advantageous, or maybe they're just like a little bit better than you at one of the S tiers or something. Like, yeah. But the fact that it's allowed, unfortunately, means it should be forced. Like, you have to have one. But again, in the most respectful way possible, I feel like if you don't, you're not taking this as seriously as you should. But I also get that, like, there's not really any money in the NAEU scene, so it's hard to have teams actually, like, find the time to practice, to get all their players together, etc., etc. So I understand that the infrastructure isn't there. No, you've got to swap before the round starts. Can you imagine on the big stage, like, a hunter coming out, sitting down, going through, like, the picks and bans, and then like getting up, walking off, and then a different hunter comes and sits down? No, you don't do it to counterpick. You do it once, like, you exhaust your first hunter's, like, best characters. And it's less of an issue in these early rounds where there's only, like, the 2 or a maximum of 3 rounds. But, like, when it gets to the 5 rounds, where it's like, okay, all the S tiers are out of the pool now, you want a second hunter who has maybe practiced the off-meta hunters. Remember that Korea's hunter couldn't make it? Yeah, that sucked. I felt really bad for them. Also, how sad for that hunter. Like, the team as well, but, like, for the hunter specifically, not even being able to go, like, qualifying for a big tournament like that. I'd be so sad. Priestess Merc. Doc ban, love that. Surprised we didn't see any doctors. Team has picked up a clerk main to play R1 after the buffs is a special. Yeah, exactly. Like, it can only benefit you to have alternates. There's literally no drawback. Except, I guess, if you win, it's a bigger split of the prize pool, but, like, Professor. So who do they think the hunter's gonna be? Actually, this says anti-goat to me. This is an anti-goat comp. Merc gets wrecked by goat, though. But I mean, if he's first chase and he elbow pads before like the goat's in range, he's probably fine. Mad Eyes. Okay. Well, all bets are off. Let's see it. I don't know. Everybody calm down. He hasn't won yet. On Lakeside? Yeah. I have questions, but I hope I'm wrong. The hunter's name is spelled Uikam. Line spawn, I hate it. No, I agree, Ants, but that still doesn't necessarily make it a good idea. I don't know, I'm cautiously optimistic. Because, yeah, you don't first round Mad Eyes without a plan, but that plan can definitely blow up in your face. Alright, let's see it. Yeah, I'm with you, Tex. Like I love seeing the off meta picks, the pocket picks, etc. But I've been burned too many times getting excited for a pick that just gets fucking demolished. So I'm hopeful, but I have definitely tempered my expectations. Insolence trump card. Yeah, we call that the Chad build. Well, looks like we're just scouting so far. Kind of interesting. No one had, like, touched a cipher for the first, like, 30 seconds either. He got kicked off his machine. He missed his interrupt wall. Interesting. Okay. Oh my god, remember when this corner of the map sucked? And wasn't a loop? I remember. Alright, we're physically chasing a merc. There's a global portal down. Did not get the blink hit. Yeah, your character ruined a bunch of maps for me, and I'm mad about it. What are we doing, though? Alright, he got the portal through the wall. That's good. He walled off that direction, but he was a little too slow. He was standing in that pallet. That was wild. Merc's down. There's a lot of cipher progress, but, like, only one of them is that close to being done. Uh-oh. Well, that's not what you want. So I see the vision. He's trying to, like, lock people into an area, but, like, I think we're just too late. I think Lake is big for Mad Eyes. I would agree. But I also don't play Mad Eyes, so, you know. Take anything I have to say about it with a grain of salt. No, again, like, I see the vision, right? I see what he was trying to go for. And it, like, kind of worked. But, like, none of the other survivors have any chip damage or anything on them. Like, the ciphers are far enough along that they can double rescue pretty safely. Okay, we're... Alright. Okay, I mean, he wasted two people's time. They came to double rescue and got nothing out of it. So that's not terrible. But there is a global portal. Should be a tie, maybe. I mean, realistically, yeah. Should at least have a minimum of a tie. even though none of the other survivors have any damage, but they've still got a decent chunk of time left on that last cipher. Nothing huge, but, you know. Definitely floundering a bit now. Just doesn't seem quite sure. Yeah, round one, you're definitely gunning for a W, not a tie. Because presumably this should be the strongest that you are, right? And you're also trading this for an S tier pick. Because now there's going to be a ban. I mean, the first time I hit Cyclops, I got someone out early, now what? Leo, thank you for the 13 months. Good to see you. Thank you for the support. It means the most. Oh, my notification sound started and then immediately stopped. Alright, we have slowed down Cypher progress. But we've only got like one ship worth of damage. I go torture myself in HOTS. Best of luck. I have decided not to torture myself today by playing IDV, and instead I'm just watching it and talking about it. It's much less stressful. To his credit, they aren't decoding. I mean, exactly, but like... But at some point, you do actually have to win the game. Oh, okay. And I'm starting to see the vision. You get the one out, and then you just lock down the ciphers. It's kind of like Ivy, but somehow slower. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. It certainly is, but I mean, they're not making much progress. Whoop, okay. It's so funny seeing survivors running like so close to him. It just doesn't matter. I love the focus on decoding call out. They realize no detention. I don't think that changes anything. Not really, like, because they're just gonna have to pop whenever they get the chance regardless. Ooh, we have chipped priestess again. This is elder abuse. Oh, that one's getting some progress. Uh-oh. I think chasing was a mistake. Like, when he was standing still, just patiently hitting them with walls, they weren't making any progress. The moment he started going after the antiquarian, the game started to fall apart. Like, I saw the game plan, and that it was a good game plan. Now it's a problem. Yeah, he should have stayed parked just camping the ciphers with walls, because now it's problem town. How do you play this endgame? Do you just, like, lock the gates, but, like, again, then what? Ooh. Oh, what the fuck? Twitch. So one of the gates is open. Wait, can he block him from running out? This was a weird game. I don't know about this. I want to share the down because he wants more than a tie. But the problem was, like, again, once he's chasing, he's not a threat anymore. I don't think he should have went mad on us. It was a risky play for sure. Well, he's up. That was a weird game. Also 17 minutes long. You need to be God tier to pull it off, and you have to commit. I think it started falling apart where when he started chasing the antiquarian on foot. That was a mistake. Because up until that point, it was like, yeah, okay, he's not making a lot of progress, but he's getting chips in, and more importantly, the opponents aren't making any progress either. So as long as he kept stalling and was like occasionally getting chips, I mean, I think that's what you want, right? As long as they're not making progress, I think you're fine. All right, 1 second. We're swapping to the fucking YouTube stream. All right. Crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last cipher's not done. Look at this. What the fuck? We can't see? Oh. What the fuck? It was working a second ago. Oh. This right here. 1 cipher. 2 cipher. First kill. 3rd cipher. 4th cipher. Scyther? Yeah, it's Pokemon now. And then, like, look at this fucking crap. That's crazy. All that for a tie? Yep. Yeah, they just seemed unwilling to commit to the bit. Like, I don't know. I mean, I was the one that was saying, like, okay, at some point you do have to, actually close out the game, but, like, not really. He could have just kept doing that. And I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. You just force them to make a mistake. lot of Mad Ice players are known because there's like 4 of them total. Yeah. Yeah, I think if they had just committed to just sitting there and hitting them anytime they got near a cipher, I think he might have had it. Is Engineer that good? I didn't think he was first band material in like Koa. Maybe it's an NAEU thing. Like Grave I can at least see. Oh, wait. Engineer gone. Oh, Enchantress gone. Air was really good. He's been meta since launch. Is he good if you don't chase him? But don't get me wrong, he's not bad. Oh yeah, the boost. I forgot about the boost. Yeah, alright. I definitely don't think I'd consider him a first round ban, but I could definitely see him hitting the ban list at some point. Yeah, after a rescue, he can like basically force the hunter back a little bit to kind of guarantee a rebound, and or he can guarantee a rescue by forcing the hunter back before he rescues. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, you can do some fancy shit with his little boosts if you are good enough. Otherwise, most people kind of just use it to run in a straight line, but if you can do that and then, like, you know, like hit a cheeky angle and then, like, drop a pallet or something. Alright, our first goat man. No, like, I definitely see him as tournament viable. I just didn't think he was, like, first ban material. And apparently he wasn't, because they changed it. I like that person's name, Sad Cartoon. The second Tetris remix we've heard on this playlist so far. Yeah, absolutely second and third round bannable. 100%. Absolutely agree. I have no idea who's playing on what. I like that Goatman's little bow tie thing is nowhere, like, near around his neck. Hey, the S tier skin. Let's go. Question, how does Escapologist Poof interact with Goat Wall? It doesn't? Okay. So, like, you hit him, he poofs forward, he touches the wall, he doesn't go through the wall until he comes out of poof, and then he probably goes through the wall. Because it doesn't automatically, like, shove him through the wall, I don't think. Ooh, that's an unfortunate blink. That's a Dagon blink right there. Yeah, I know it's not going to get him out of it, but I don't think it shoves him through right away. Like, it shoves him into it, and then they go through. Like, after the animation's over. This is such a good skin. Cool particle effects, sick concept. Like, the closest they've gotten to horror in a really long time. Hit him with the world from fucking from JoJo's. Teleporting Polnareff back down the stairs. Freaked out about magician's proportions? I don't even remember. Like Goat's model in this game, but not the skin itself. I like it because I like the concept a lot. The tree that's been struck by lightning and is now on fire inside, like, it. I like it, they nailed it. It's also why he's got, like, the rain particle effects. And the rain effect looks nice, the jacket looks wet. They went with a cool concept and they executed it flawlessly. And it's not just here's a fancy shirt or here's a fancy dress, like, and he looks menacing. Sorry, I haven't been talking about the actual match much. This is going slower than you want as a goat man. Uh-oh. He's got the chair, but yeah, he's got it. They just pop here though, yeah. It's the current consensus on dentist in the meta. He gets banned a lot in my game, so I feel like he's pretty good. Yeah, he's not in tournament yet. They're not on the current patch. Okay, we got Matador. No teleport for 44 seconds. If this is a tie, I mean, HZ's got to be pretty happy with that. Any stuns online? Nah, they got it. Doesn't matter. Don't need it. I think he's the most meta hunter besides Goat, man. I see him banned in my games constantly. Him, Goat, and B. B, yeah, Queen B's still good. Yeah, we saw one in the tournament already. She didn't do anything fancy, but she still got a 3K. But her ability to quickly traverse the map, plus just having a ranged attack, is pretty solid. Yeah, I feel like I'd probably like Dentist if I played him, but since I'm ranking, it feels weird to try to learn a character and I was going to be banned constantly. Yeah, I've seen people play Dentist a couple of times, and his ability seems significantly easier to land than like a chain bomb. More reliable. Anyway, HZ getting the same outcome from a Bad Eyes game as a Goat game. I mean, that's definitely where you want to be. I've also heard he's another difficult to play hunter on mobile. I have no idea how anybody does anything with any sort of precision on mobile, but they do it. And I'm constantly impressed by it. And it's just because I'm old and I'm not used to mobile controls, they will never feel correct to me. Not having a physical thumbstick, it will just like always just screw with my head. I can't deal with it. But yeah, B is basically like, what if Ripper had map control? And the answer is, that's pretty fucking good character you got there. Alright, can we get to the next match, please? I actually do need to go to the grocery store. Oh, it occurs to me, I might actually have to dip after round 2, since they tied. What are you gonna get? I mean, a lot of stuff. Stuffed salmon, probably like chicken fingers, some watermelon, hot dogs, lunch meat. My playlist stopped. Uh, I don't know if Peddler was meant to be meta. I also think if I were NetEase, I would be happier with where she wound up than any of the other hunters they've released in like recent memory. Also, the escapologist not going half there was fucking criminal. We thought she was gonna be OP. I didn't. Everybody was panicking. And I was like, I don't know. I think she's the healthiest hunter they've released in a while. She's playable, but not, like, oppressive. Which I think is where you want a hunter to be. It's where I want hunters to be. As a hunter may. I'm still not positive that, Hearstier's gonna be, like, meta. I think he'll definitely be playable. But, we won't know how strong he actually is until we see people actually learn how to fucking play against him. Because currently he's going to get a lot of advantage from the fact that, like, people don't know where they're safe. I mean, and I think that's gonna be a learning process, though, kinda like learning what you can and can't foggy through as Ripper. But Herstier definitely seems strong in a lot of scenarios, but I do think a lot of his strength is because people literally don't know where they're safe. They'll, like, go behind an area and kinda stop, and then suddenly he's on top of them again, and they're just kinda like, "Wait, what?" I don't know if it's necessarily accurate collision that you want, as long as it's consistent collision. Because that way you at least know what you can and can't do, right? Like, okay, like if a wall is like X thickness, I either need to jump at this angle or it's not gonna work, right? So as long as you always can't jump over this thing from this distance, then that's fine to me. It's just something you gotta learn. Even if it's not necessarily like intuitive. Hello looks bored. And just kind of tired. All right, there we go. Is he based in NA? Hey, look, it's that picture of that map that definitely doesn't exist anymore. I don't think so. He might be tired. He's just not my kind of hunter. I think I'd enjoy playing him. In Singapore? Oh yeah, this has got to be a weird time then. I think that's where the Dota tournament is right now. Hello, dyed his hair. Yep, the streamer special. Although he did go with like a more natural color. Streamers usually go for the blues, pinks, or purples. Seems like torture to be commentating an NA tourney when you're not in NA. Yeah, it sounds rough. I wouldn't know anything about that. It was Gummy. Newish. She did Koa, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like Gummy's the one who did Koa. Am I wrong? This is how we found out Dagon has face blindness. Not that new, yeah. I also don't remember her from before Koa, but that's also because I don't really watch a lot of tournament. Well, I didn't watch a lot of tournaments outside of Koa, so I wouldn't have seen her even if she was in something else. Okay, we've banned two kind of stealth characters. We got a Queen Bee ban. I haven't seen a Lanternist yet. It's because there's only up until this point been like 2 rounds, and she's been banned in like half of them, I think. I like Kuro. I think he has the most game knowledge of any of the casters. Like the others are fine, but wasn't Eli banned? I thought he just was a coach for a team or something. And that's why he wasn't on commentary anymore. I didn't hear about him getting banned, but I like my casters to be knowledgeable. Yeah. Knowing the ins and outs of matchups and stuff is nice, and having like a unique insight into it is always a plus. And I feel like Kuro generally does that quite well. Um, I think like Eli didn't do the most recent Koa because it was my understanding he was like a coach for a team or something, so that's why he wasn't doing commentary. And then before that, he casted the previous Koa, so I don't think he got banned. They were wild. Could out rap Eminem. It's funny that you mentioned that. I was watching the big Dota tournament today earlier, and one of the commentators was talking really fast, and people started posting "Rap God" in chat. It was really funny. You're just suspended. Okay. I hate Ivy. I'm not crazy. Yeah, I never heard that. But then again, I don't keep up with other creators really. comment he made? Yeah, I could see it. I mean, as a commentator, I know they have to fill time between rounds, like Lord knows I do. But like I felt like he wanted to talk about anything other than the game that had just happened. He wasn't that rare, like not last Koa, but the one before that. He was in the rotation. The streams without him were always bring Eli back. He was the worst commentator. Oh, is that what it was? I don't consider that suspension worthy. I understand why they would. But just like whenever it was after a round was over, it seemed like he immediately just didn't want to talk about the game anymore. And I swear, if he brought up that fucking NA players cooking Instagram one more time, I was gonna throw stuff at my monitor. Yeah. Yep, that's it. You wouldn't say the foreign players' names, right? I mean, yeah, all right. So if I'm a commentator, right? Because we'll break this down because I don't have anything useful to say about the Ivy matchup. I wish I did, but I don't. And I don't care to learn. That's actually not true. I wouldn't mind understanding a little bit more, but it really does just seem to be okay. You get your first down right, and you kind of just start leaving fucking slabs everywhere, and kind of just taking over the match. But I feel like if you're going to do commentary professionally, I think it is not unreasonable for you to go out of your way to talk to either production, if you have a production team, or someone to get a list of phonetic pronunciations for players' names. Like, that's just minimum professionalism. Like the Shadow instead of Ivy. There was a big thing for that initially with Dota 2, because people would call characters by their original names from Dota 1. Like, Furion isn't Furion anymore in Dota 2. And it took me ages, like, watching tournaments to figure out who the fuck that was. But that would be like if there was an Identity 3 and Ivy existed and her name was like Carol. So people were calling her Carol. Because like I don't have a problem calling her Ivy. I think that's fine. Um, versus Shadow, I think you can use them interchangeably because that's just how this community has worked since I've been a part of it. It's confusing at first, but you learn. But like again, calling them a name that just straight up isn't in the game anymore is crazy. But like I understand why the commentators did it initially for Dota 2 because like it was a new thing and esports wasn't that serious. And like that's literally what the character had been called in Dota 1 for ages. Yeah, when I first started and I was like spectating people on like Twitch and YouTube and stuff, and they kept using in-game character names, I was very confused. For saying gatekeeper, that's cute. I like that. Nice terror shock. I haven't called architect. The only weird name issue ism thing that I do is I call aeroplanist engineer because that's his name in Japanese for some reason. Not a Japanese word for engineer. Engineer is his name, which makes way more sense than aeroplanist. Yeah, it's just engineer and katakana. They should have just gone with that. I don't know why they didn't. Robbie's being crybaby always crack me up. I don't know, my poor son. Alright, so I hate watching Ivy games. I love her ability to force people off of ciphers. I would kill for that as Bonbon. I can kinda do it, but not to the same degree. It's like at best I can kinda make him fuck off of a cipher for like 5 to 7 seconds. But just being able to threaten that like, hey, I'm here now is crazy. Female dancer has always been a really odd name. Yeah, I think it's a translation thing. There's probably a specific word for female dancer instead of like, just dancer genderless. Anyway, a much more commanding game out of Pit that time. I wasn't particularly impressed by the Goat Man, but the Ivy looked on point. Like it was what you expect from an Ivy 4K. Just pretty clinical, get your first down, and then just kind of take over the game by being able to force people off ciphers and just exert map pressure. People get upset depending on what name you call. Do they really? I've not heard that. Because of her lore. Ah, okay. Yeah, I'm not a lore guy, so I wouldn't know. I've only ever really heard like Margie. If someone had said Natalie to me, I would have just been confused about who they meant. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I've only ever seen Margie in game, so. But again, not a big lore guy. Anyway, Pit had a solid Terror Shock. This is a good Hunter map, though. I am curious to see what HZ's Hunter decides to play, since most of the Hunters will still be available. There's going to be, what, one ban that's realistically going to be Goatman, so most of the Hunter pool is still available. Also, unfortunately, I am going to have to dip after this round, because I do, in fact, need to go to the grocery store. Well, they tied the first round. They weren't supposed to do that. How are y'all going to get a tie on a Mad Eyes versus a Goat Band? Just starve for us, you're so inconsiderate. Listen, if it was just my food, because I have food. My mom does not buy as much like frozen stuff as me. Like I've still got some frozen burgers, some canned soups, some ramen. I'm good for at least another day, but next round, please. That's why I just play hunters, because I know most of them aren't great people. And that way I don't gotta worry about it. Yeah, some of the hunters are actually okay. Like, didn't Naiad just get, like, murdered? Or Village Drowner. Yeah. 90% of the survivors are terrible people. Yeah, it's kind of weird they decided to do that. They kind of went with the slasher movie thing where you make most of the like victim characters kind of like horrible people that no one likes, so you don't mind seeing them like get stabbed to death. Qist ban. Does this hunter not play goat? This is a solid goat map, right? Ever Sleeping is the best goat map? I would assume. There's a little bit of verticality, but I don't think he minds. I feel like Ever Sleeping's just one of the better hunter maps, period. Nah, LG knows what she did. I don't know what I mean by that. The newer lore. Are they changing lore? Don't change your lore. Also, for some when you type that, it just reminded me of like fucking Britney Spears. I'm not that innocent. And now the mind's eye is definitely fucking singing that song. So she beats someone to death with her cane. I feel like I should be more interested in the lore. I don't know why I'm not. Like, it's not uninteresting. Like, it's kind of cool. I don't know. Also, for how long this game's been out, I really feel like it should have more story. Really? No goat. Alright. I mean, listen, Grandma's strong. I would be going through the S tiers first, but then again, their first pick was fucking Mad Eye, so what do I know? I mean, listen, this game has more story than any other asymmetrical horror game. So by that metric, I mean, it literally has the most, and it's not close, so... Batter committed arson. He also blinded a man, me, with that fucking esports accessory. Which was not justified, and he should stop. That accessory's nuts. And I want it? Alright, final round for Dagon. I love the bird on her head. What the fuck? That's awesome. I always have mixed feelings about chasing Psych first, just because you have to wait out that health state. But, like, it being gone is pretty nice, because I mean, she can still heal other people, right? But not if she's the one being chased. It's kind of like chasing a rescuer first, because then there's no, like, tide. People who start fires don't end up with pyrophobia. I mean, if you started a fire because you felt like you needed to save yourself and other people, and it caused harm to anyone, I could see that, like, scarring you. That makes sense to me. Ooh, good vine. Annoying bird. Honestly, like, again, not the worst, because the bonus health state's still there. But this is definitely taking longer than you want, Cypher-wise. Ideally, you want someone down by now. I don't think she competes time-wise with, like, the S tiers. This is your Ann pick. This is your tie hunter. In a perfect world, you definitely wanted to be able to throw a rock at that bird so that, you didn't get stuck in hit recovery. I don't like crossing the street because I got hit by a car once. Yeah, but Ance's point was it would be interesting if you were the person who had hit someone crossing the street with the car, and now you don't feel comfortable crossing the street. Which I could still see, honestly. I love all Grandma's B tiers. They're pretty good. I actually like her S tier quite a bit. Because, like, if nothing else, it's different. This is a slaughter. This is elder abuse. Just hit her. There you go. Doesn't go down that road anymore, so kind of the same. Yeah, like, absolutely. I can see it. Her S tier is super unique, and I think that's really cool. Ooh, the double prime. Rescue. Has a gun. Ooh, they want that 4 out. Oh, not that bad. It's still doable. Yeah, I was gonna say pop, but what are we doing? This poor granny. The rocks have not been on point, and you really need them to be. The hunter panic? Yep. 4 out? Oh, that hurts. That's a 4K 4 out. That's tragic. Been there. That's rough. Alright, at least I feel less bad about leaving now, because that basically guaranteed that Omni wins this. Just by points. There's no fucking way. So while I apologize that I must leave early, at least, you know, the match is decided. Unless I miss, like, the mother of all comebacks, which would be pretty sick, actually. But thank y'all for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Wait, almost had as many views as the official Twitch stream, which I am going to throw y'all over to. So thank y'all. I'm going to try to be on to cast most of this tournament, which means I'm going to have to actually play ranked at some point, that not during night ranked. I'll figure that out later. But in the meantime, thank y'all for hanging out. I hope you had a good time. I will be back later with groceries. Hooray. In the meantime, y'all have a good rest of your night. Take it easy. Find your little spots where you can. Peace. Oh, I gotta hit the raid, but okay, never mind. We're good.